Hello, friends. Welcome to Reading Today. You are almost done with Module 1. Today is day 27. Can you believe you have learned that many things in that many days? You guys have done such an awesome job in your Wit and Wisdom lessons. Well, today you're going to revisit all of the books that we have read in Module 1. And you're going to think about how did those books build your knowledge? You're going to think about what do you know because of all of these books you've read? And what can you do as a reader and writer now that you have had all of these lessons and books? Now, on Monday, you guys filled out your knowledge journal for just the book of Green Eggs and Ham. But today, you're going to revisit all of the books that we've read so far. Now, today you're going to have a choice. You can either choose to do a flip grid and say you're thinking out loud of what is something you know because of these books that we've read and what's something you can do as a reader or writer, or you can choose to do your writing inside your journal. It is up to you. So be sure to listen to Miss Spears and make sure you have your journal and pencil if you're choosing to write, or you may do a flip grid after this video. All right, listen carefully.
Hello, first grade friends, and welcome back to Wit and Wisdom in Sync. My name is Tanisha Spears, and I'm so excited to get back into our work for today. But before we do, let's make sure you have your materials ready. For this lesson, you will need your Wit and Wisdom in Sync journal and a pencil. Pause the video now if you need to gather your materials. Our work for this module has all been to build our knowledge so that we can answer this big question or this essential question of how do books change lives around the world? And we've been reading about how books can change lives around the world, and we've explored quite a few books and some paintings to help us build our knowledge in order to answer that big question. And before you share what you've learned, let's take a minute to review what we think about this question. How do these books build my knowledge of how books change lives? Okay, now I want you to take a minute to think. How do these books that we've explored over this module build your knowledge on how books change lives? Okay, now that you've thought, I want you to share with your learning partner how at least 2 of those texts help build your knowledge on how books change lives. Now, let's take a few minutes to review our learning from each of the module texts. In My Librarian is a Camel, we learned about different countries as well as remote places and how kids and adults get books in those countries. In Waiting for the Biblioburro, we learned about Anna and how she had to wait for a book and then how she wrote her own to share with the Biblioburro. In Tomas and the Library Lady, we learned how Tomas got books and then how he became the new storyteller for his family. And in That Book Woman, we learned that Cal was not interested in reading and couldn't understand why the book woman kept coming. But then we learned how he changed his mind and learned to read. And speaking of changing minds, in Green Eggs and Ham, we learned that it's okay to try something new because you might actually like it. And in Museum ABC, we got a chance to explore visual art using the same questions we use when exploring a text. Wow, that is a lot of learning. You now know and have learned so much already. And now you're ready to add to the knowledge journal. Take a look at your screen and you'll see the knowledge journal, and you've seen this before. Remember, on the left-hand side, this part is all about the new information you've learned or what you know. And on the right-hand side is where we're going to capture the skills or the things that we can do as a reader or a writer as a result of reading the text in this module. What I want you to do now is think. Think about what you know. And here's some questions to help you with that. What did we learn about how some children get books? What did we learn about mobile libraries? And what did we learn about how books change lives? I'm going to show you the things that I learned and what I know. And as I'm showing you, I want you to think, do they match what you would say? Or perhaps you have something different, and that is great. Here's what I learned, or here's what I know. Books can help me learn to read. Books can teach me messages, and books can be fun. Now let's think about what we can do. I want you to think, what have you learned to do as a reader or writer as a result of reading the text in this module? What have you learned to do as a reader or a writer? Now that you have that in your head, I want you to see if what you can do matches some of the things that I can do. I can name the characters, setting, problem, and resolution in a story. I can retell a story, and I can write complete sentences. Are those some of the same things that you can do? I'm sure there are other things that you can do as well. Now, what I want you to do is pause the video to get your journal and your pencil if you don't have it already. Now that you have your pencil and your journal, you are going to record aloud or write at least one thing you know and one thing you can do as a result of studying the text in this module. I'll say it again. You are going to write one thing you've learned or one thing you know from the module text, and then you're going to write or record one thing you can do. Pause the video now to record aloud or write. And don't worry, I'll be here when you get back. Welcome back, friends. You have learned so much throughout this entire module, and you had an opportunity to write out the things that you know and can do as a result of studying the many texts in this module. Great job. We will wrap up Module 1 in the next lesson. Until then, be kind and do something great because you are capable of greatness.